right, Healthy Haven viewers, we have got a very, very special guest here today. She is one of our blind surfers, but she's probably the one that sets the highest bar for surfers because she's been doing this, I would say, probably the longest. We haven't interviewed the rest of them yet, but we've got Charlene here, and I'm going to let her introduce herself because she's got a handful of stuff that she's done as a visually impaired surfer, and I just don't want to miss any questions. So being that she's here with us today, thank you so much for coming to join us. This is our Healthy Haven 8th show, and we don't have the other participants here yet. They're going to be arriving soon. But I wanted to interview you first because you were just such an incredible inspiration when you texted me all the things that you've done. It's not just surfing, guys. This woman has done beyond all these years, and I'd love for you, please, to introduce yourself, full name, and let us know how long you've been surfing for, if you're visually impaired or partially, and inspire us with all your wonderful things that you've done for this many years.
I'm happy to do that.
Please do.
Okay, my name is Charlene Ornelas. I have been blind or legally blind all of my life. I tell people I'm illegally sighted. So I think having a sense of humor is important. But I'm also, having been blind all my life, was fortunate that my family has a history of it and is kind of used to people being blind, so I wasn't held back totally. I snuck and did a few things my mother didn't want me to do, but
we all do that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I figured, hey, where there's will, there's a way. Other people got to do it, and I wanted to do it too, so I rode a bicycle. I figured, I started at the top of the hill, and I figured if I get to the bottom of the hill, if I didn't fall off, I was going to be riding. I wasn't about to fall off, so I rode. That's how I figured out how to ride the bicycle. Yes, I've had some interesting times. I almost ran into parked cars. But that was on the small streets out in the wide area. But I've not let my vision get in my way. I've rock climbed, I've rappelled. And as a blind person, rappelling is even easier for us because you walk 90 degrees to the wall and you're not supposed to keep looking around behind you to see what's going on because you lose your balance to the wall. Well, I'm used to feeling where I'm going with my feet. And so it wasn't a problem for me. I had somebody sighted down below, tell me where to go a little bit, and then I just let go of the rope and let it go out and go as fast as I wanted to. I had a great time. I grew up trying things. I played basketball, and the problem there was I'd find the baskets. I'd follow the ball by the sound of people bouncing it, but when they threw a basket and they missed, I hated it because it hit the rim and I would usually find it with my face later on.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
So you probably had quite a few bruises here and there along the way.
And a lot of broken glasses frames.
Oh no. Oh, no.
But I never let it stop me.
Never let it stop you.
I've always figured that, hey, that's life.
Right.
I've done water skiing, snow skiing, I've roller skated, ice skated, canoed, kayak, tandem bike riding, horseback rode.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite?
Surfing.
Really, surfing? Can you say why? Why is surfing so popular for so many?
I love the surfing because I'm in control of it. Once I get set up, I do need sighted people out in the water with me because I can't see the waves. I can hear them, and I know from sounds what might be happening, but I can't tell how to line up for a wave. So I have 5 people in the water with me. One is the head person who's in charge, and he watches the waves, and then he lines up me with the wave on the board. I'm on the board, and he lines it up with the wave, and then I push up because I'm only 78 years old. I think I'm 30. But I can feel from the board exactly how that wave is working. And it's just me communicating through the board through the water, and I get to ride out the wave. So I need visual help to get started, but then I'm on my own and I can do it.
How long did it take you to learn that? Like, how long till you mastered what you call mastering, I guess?
A few years, probably,
years.
because we only do this like once a year. We've done it, at one point we got to do it twice a year, which was great. But it's mostly been once a year.
And how old were you? How old were you when you mastered it?
I was in my 50s.
In her 50s?
I've been doing, we've been doing this
Wow.
26 years, and I've done it 25 out of the 26 years.
Oh,
For the
jeez.
surfing, but I really look forward to it.
Yeah.
Get all excited about it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Have trouble sleeping the night before.
That's exciting, yeah.
Something I really look forward to all year long. That I get to go, surf.
Well, that's what keeps you young. Is this
and-
looking forward to this, yeah.
Right, and I've just never let the lack of eyesight that I have get in my way. I just figure there's ways around it, and I do things that other people get to do. I just do them sometimes a little differently. I've actually even driven a car.
Wow.
It happened to be a driver's ed car, and we shook up the people that weren't supposed to be there that snuck in. Probably wish they hadn't one, because I had a sighted person just touching my elbow, and he would, ahead of time, we figured this out, how to tell me to turn and how to turn the wheel and everything. It was a driver's ed car, and so he would just put his finger on my arm while he wanted me to turn the wheel, and then I would turn it back. When he'd let go of the pressure, I'd turn it back to
That's what you said it would be.
10 and 2. And we were driving, being very appropriate, looking at the person talking to us. Apparently sighted people didn't like that when we were driving, especially in the back lot. He let us put up some speed after we showed we could control the car and stop it and not hurt somebody.
Yeah. That's
we
quite
got
an
to
adventure.
go in the back lot and go faster. And I could be a speed demon driving the car.
Yeah.
It was fun going fast.
Well, it sounds like you tried just about everything that is out there, pretty much,
I've
and
tried
more than I've done in my life.
Word of. Anytime I found there's something to try, I've gone and tried doing it. I've just not let blindness be in my way.
Well, if you were to see again, what's one thing that you would want to see? Like, what is it that one thing that you would say, I really would like to see what that looks like? What would that be?
That's a hard one for me because I've never seen normal. I guess I would want to see, what my children's faces really look like.
Okay.
See my guy's face, what he really looks like.
Sure.
But I'm so used to not seeing things normal. There's actually advantages to being blind, because one of my granddaughters was out with her mom, who also has the same condition I do, and my granddaughter was going, ooh, ooh, and so her mom asked her, well, what's going on? Well, she got to watch a bird pick up a mouse, have it squeezing it with its claws.
I don't know if you want to see that. Do you really want to see that? I think I'll pass on that one.
I don't see that kind of stuff. So
You can pass
the
on that one.
advantage of being blind is I don't have to see all
You don't have to see all the
yucky
gore.
things in
Yeah,
gore
believe me.
in life.
There's certain things you're better off not knowing about.
And
Yeah.
I can just, see what my blurs as how I want to see them.
Okay.
Say, all right, okay.
Right.
It's like I was trying to make something out of trying to figure out some barrels that I saw. And I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm trying to make it into a limo with all the window, doors and all. Found out it was barrels on the highway so people, don't crash.
Yeah.
Or get hurt if they crash.
Right.
Or as hurt.
Right.
So, but I can see things, my way.
Right. You got the best of both worlds, don't you?
I do.
I like that. All right. I'm just going to ask you one more thing.
Sure.
What advice would you give to someone who is blind? Well, actually, I'm going to give you a choice of questions. What advice would you like to give to someone who's surfing for the first time and visually impaired? Or would you like to answer what message or advice would you like to share with others who might be facing their own challenges?
I would take the second one.
Okay.
My message in life is don't let blindness control you. You control your life. There are places where people can go and get the skills they need to learn to live in spite of blindness or with blindness. It doesn't have to be the controller of my life. I can cook, I can sew, I can raise kids, I can travel. I've traveled independently. I've done a lot of things. Biggest limit to me is what other people decide I can or cannot do. And the other thing is, I don't let people limit me. I do what I can in spite of what people think.
That deserves a great applause. You're amazing. Such a Wonder Woman and such an inspiration, truly.
Yeah.
I truly mean that. It's a true honor. This is an unbelievable lady. We thank you very, very much for coming on here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, well, you're setting a high bar. We haven't interviewed the other people that are about to come, but when they hear your story, they're like, wow, if she can do it, we really got to keep moving to keep up with you.
Yeah. I see only a fraction of what people see in a small field. People ask me, how do you see this? Well, a legal definition of blindness is if you think of a football field, you put the football players on one goal line and a person with normal vision on the other goal line. I'll do my little finger thing. And in order for the sighted person to see, or a legally blind person to see the football players as clearly as a sighted person would, they'd have to go to the 10-yard line.
Oh, there you go. All right.
So I have to be that close to anything to see things like you. Well, I can't get that close to most things, so I see things kind of like it used to be when you saw movies in the old days in school and it wasn't focused, and you could see the general things. That's how I see it. I see trees because they're a bunch of green and go to the ground. I know it's a tree.
Wow.
If there's a thing in the center, but if the green already goes all the way to the ground, it's a bush. That's how you tell the difference.
So you're leaning on a lot more of your other senses to
I
strengthen
lean on
this.
my other senses, and what is also known as what is don't blank on the word. But I have to pre-think what logic vision. I just figured logically what this could be.
Right. So, I guess I wasn't going to ask you this, but since you brought up leaning on your other senses, if you don't mind, we'll throw one more in.
Sure.
If you were to have to get your vision back and they say, well, lose another sense, what other sense, would you say visually impaired is probably a better sense to lose than any of the other ones? Or how would you feel about that out of all senses?
Well, in my case, I would find hearing the one that would be hardest to hear because that's the one to lose, because that's the one you can communicate with people with a lot.
Okay. All right.
I may not be able to communicate fully, with a sighted people, like someone close with me, that's visual. I don't see it. But
Right.
I can pick up on a lot of other things. If I can't hear anything, I'm missing the birds, I'm missing conversations, I'm missing a lot. So I'll live without eyesight easily before losing hearing.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for sharing that. I've always wanted to ask a question like that, and I'm glad you clarified it beautifully. Thank you so much. It looks like your lunch is waiting for you.
I think so.
We're ready to wrap this one. Thank you again.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
A real pleasure. Oh, my pleasure. That's Charlene. Thank you again.
Ooh, baby, do you know what it's worth? Healthy living right here on earth. They say in heaven, health comes first.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healthy Haven Live, the one and only live health talk show here in San Diego. I'm Analia Mintz, your producer and host. As you can see, we are not having our shows in an indoor venue as we usually do. Instead, this time we are taking our 8th show out here in this gorgeous beach, Cardiff State Beach here in California, where we will be inspired by visually impaired surfers. Today, this event is being sponsored by the Encinitas Lions Club in partnership with Urban Surf for Kids as they hold their 27th annual surfing clinic. Well, gentlemen, what is most inspiring about these surfers, being that they are visually impaired, is that they're riding the waves and enjoying and mastering the experience as they use their other senses to feel the wind and ocean spray on their face, hear the beach and ocean sounds, taste the salt in the air, and get the thrill in their minds of riding a surfboard. This show is therefore called, are you ready? Riding with the Waves of Life, which is exactly what these gentlemen did. And they're going to show us how they can break through all barriers. The word impossible to them means nothing more than I'm possible. And the word handicap doesn't mean handicap, it's handy capable. So we invite you to sit back as we interview these talented individuals so we too can overcome some of our barriers or challenges and master anything with the right mindset. All right, gentlemen, welcome and thank you for being here. We have two wonderful gentlemen here, Daniel and Tony. And let's start with Daniel. Daniel, how long have you been surfing for?
For a few hours.
Oh, wow. He's a newbie. He's a newbie. Okay. And Tony, how long you been surfing for?
I've been surfing maybe 4 years, maybe.
4 years. Okay, 4 years. Were you visually impaired at birth or lost vision later in life?
No, I lost vision around probably when I was 10 or 12. That's when I started losing it.
And how did you lose your vision?
I have Stargardt's disease. So slowly over time, like I'm developing a lot of blind spots in my eyes.
Okay.
Yeah. So since around 10 or 12 is when that started happening.
Okay. And did you accept that easily? Like, how did you feel when that started happening?
Honestly, at first, I don't think it changed me much, and then high school and early college is when I realized, oh yeah, it changed me a lot. Yeah, I mean, it affected me mentally. How can it not? But these past few years have been spent like almost like rediscovering myself and discovering that energy of it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just gotta find my way of doing things, you know.
So how long did it take you to accept? Did it take you a few months? Did you have to go to a therapist or a psychologist or anything to help you accept your new journey?
Probably a few years, honestly. Yeah, it was pretty tough. Yeah. You know, when I went to therapy, you just don't know how much it affects you immediately, especially as a kid. Because I mean, as a kid, I don't think you adapt so quickly.
You adapt.
But yeah, it took a while, but it didn't take that long, honestly, to unravel all that and be the person I am now. So I'm pretty happy about that.
That's a real character. Thank you. If you could just pass the mic on to Tony, we're going to ask you the same question there. So Tony, the same question goes for you. Were you visually impaired at birth, or did this happen later in life?
I was born with a visual impairment, and I had usable vision for 37 years of my life, and I just became blind in 2017. So I've been around for quite a while, but I do miss having my good vision. And all of a sudden, the doctors tried to repair the retina to make it stay stable, so that nothing would happen to it. But then I got a chance to get operated on when I was age 37.
Okay.
And it took quite some time for me to get used to knowing where things are and kind of put things into my head a little bit and getting used to going around with different people in my neighborhood besides my family and friends. They all been there for me, and they've always asked me real nicely if I needed help to get in here and there from A to B. So I became a very independent young person.
Wonderful. So as you can see, support from the outside and family is quite crucial at times like this, and I'm glad you're able to get it. What made you want, we'll do this question on you and then we'll pass it to you. What made you want to take on surfing as a sport? Why surfing? Like, why did you pick surfing? Because it's a very big, popular thing for the visually impaired. What made you want to do that?
Well, what made me want to do surfing as a sport is because I see how regular people do it, but how do they do it with people that have special needs and different kind of disabilities? I think it's an awesome sport that I don't get a chance to surf often as I want, but I learned the different techniques with riding the waves and knowing when to catch the good waves and the bad waves, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel very fortunate that I can still hear what's in the water and what people are around me in the background.
Oh, beautiful. That makes sense. Thank you. Same thing goes for you. What made you choose surfing?
Yeah.
Out of all sports, there's so many, but yet here you are.
One, I wanted something that's outdoors and just so I can get out in the sun. Two, I felt like it'd be like pretty challenging and then 3, I think I would just imagine how would I feel if I surfed. I feel like I'd feel pretty cool. So I think that cool factor was part of it for sure.
That's excellent. So, what satisfaction do you get from surfing? Like, whether it be mentally or emotionally, like, what's your biggest satisfaction?
I just like the challenge of it. You never know if the next one is going to be the one that you could stand up on.
Oh.
And then obviously you take a few tumbles, but I mean that's honestly a little fun. So yeah.
That's good. All right. Same question goes to Tony there.
Right,
Tony, what makes you, well, Tony, what satisfaction do you get from surfing? What is your biggest satisfaction from surfing?
The biggest satisfied is like how people can connect together and stay interact with one another and be as part of the team. Like Wayfinders, for example, I've always been in their organization because I grew up and went to camp when it used to be. I went to Camp Bloomfield in Malibu, and before it used to be the foundation, but we tried to think of other ways to get things going again and make other blind or visually impaired people have a good time, even different families.
Okay. You can keep it for a minute. I'm going to just ask you 2 more. What has been the most challenging part of learning to surf? Is there any challenge to this?
There's not really. Well, the challenging part of my thing is to keep being active and proactive and keep motivated.
Same question for you. What has been the most challenging part of you learning to surf?
Probably balancing on the board, trying to keep that nose up. And not eat sand, So.
Not eat sand. I love that one. That doesn't taste too great.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to ask you the next one. You can pass it to him.
Okay.
Can you share a memorable moment when you felt particularly connected to surfing?
Yeah. There was one time where I got on one knee, and I felt myself, moving, and it felt pretty sweet. Yeah. And then after that, I hit the sand. So.
Oh,
but it didn't take. It's not like it took it away. I still felt pretty awesome about it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just that you're like floating. It's pretty cool.
You know what I love about these guys is they accept anything. They're like constantly going, I would say literally with the waves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever happens, they just accept. So if he got sand in his mouth, oh well, it's only sand, right?
Yeah.
Got sand over here, oh well, it's only sand. Daniel, how do you stay motivated and keep pushing your limits while you're surfing?
I think you have to kind of access that inner kid of you see a big rock and you try to climb it, you're gonna fall, and then you're like, okay, I still want to climb it. You're gonna fall again. But adults, we develop egos and insecurities, and then you're like, oh well, this speaks to my ability to not do things or something like that, and then but that's all noise. That's
noise.
We weren't born with that. We weren't like that when we were kids. We just did things, and then if we fell, we just got back up and did it again. We fell, we got back up, did it again. So
yeah. It seems we get more fearful as we get older. Would you say that? It seems like that. And then as a kid, like you said, we fear nothing. Like we don't know, like if we put the hand on a bird or what would happen, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to go back to you. If you can just give him the mic.
All right,
can you share, there you go. Can you share a memorable moment when you felt particularly connected to surfing?
Okay. I felt I can share a memorable moment. I was never brought up to be afraid or to be scared, and there was different challenges and different ways for me to do it. Like surfboarding is kind of like standing on a skateboard with 4 wheels, and that's easy to maintain. So I personally learning how to fall is one thing, getting back up is another, and walking it off is another thing. So those are the 3 major steps that I had to learn when I was little.
Okay, that's good to know. Keep the mic for 1 minute. I'm just going to ask you a question. We'll ask you the same one if you're up to it. What are some of the physical demands or other senses you need to rely on when surfing? So if you don't have your vision, what other senses do you need to use?
Knowing like how fast is it going, like how slow is it moving, and how fast is it going.
How fast it's going?
Like a surfboard is kind of pretty fast, and a skateboard.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. That's good. That's good to know. Thank you for telling me that one. Okay, and we'll give it to Daniel. Daniel, maybe you can answer the same one.
Yeah.
So what are the physical demands or other senses you rely on when you're surfing?
Yeah. It's all. I mean, it's all feeling. You get a feel for like, okay, the board is tipping down, so that means I got to lean back, or I'm leaning too much to the right or left. So yeah, that's really what it is. I don't know how much obviously sight is involved. I mean, feels like sometimes sight could be blinding. When you have this sense of feeling, you feel in your toes, you feel it in your hands, and that might be
So
more
does
reliable.
sound play a role in surfing? Like, is sound important? Like when you hear the ocean waves out there, does that help you at all? Or
I mean, if you were good at surfing, probably, but I'm not there yet. So, yeah, I'd have to gauge like, okay, the wave is this loud, so that means it's probably 3 seconds away.
Oh,
But yeah, I'm not there yet. So,
that's cool. So what feeling do you get from riding a wave?
man, it's like it's just purely present. That's what it is. Just purely.
They are mindful.
Present.
You guys are mindful. You're right in the moment, which we all need to learn to do. I love that. Thank you, Tony. We'll pass it to you and ask you the same question. So, what role, Tony, does sound play for you when you're in the water? And
What do you mean, like what
the sound of the wave, does that help you? at all?
okay,
like what are you leaning on? What senses are you leaning on?
like being in the water is like it's
So I make sure that we hear you.
you're kind of like scared to jump from one wave to another.
Oh, you are scared or you're not scared?
So,
Okay.
no, and I'm not scared no more. Before I used to be scared, but now not no more.
I love that. You're fearless. I like that. Okay. Well, I've got two last questions for you guys. Well, first of all, no, I want to know, do you have any other sports or is this the only one you're doing? Any other sports that you play?
Yeah. Tony, you have the mic, though. So.
Go ahead, Tony. You can go ahead. Do you have any sports? And we'll pass it to Daniel in a minute. Do you have any other sports that you play besides surfing?
I played like a lot of different like sports, like ever since I lost my sight, and my mom would always tell me, "Don't be a risk taker," and I go, "Why?" And I go, "I think it's fun to know like how to do like goal ball and Now we just had the Olympics in Paris, and I can kind of do like anything now because now I have no sight. I know what's in front of me and what's behind me and what's beside me.
Wow. They're more cautious. That's wonderful. Okay. I love that. Thank you. And then Daniel, if you want to take that, and I've just got one final question for both of you, and we'll wrap it up. So go ahead, answer that one for us, please.
Yeah. So I don't do other sports, but I do music, and I study piano and music composition.
Wow.
And so it's pretty, it's very difficult. I'm not gonna lie, but once you go on stage, all that you have to let go and be that performer who's just in the moment, feeling your hands on the keys and knowing where you are. It's pretty intense, and it's probably pretty similar to surfing in that regard.
Yeah, only you would know.
Yeah, I mean,
counting on you to tell me that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Thank you. So we'll end with one question. You can keep the mic, and then I'm going to ask you, your final questions are going to be, what message or advice would you like to share with others who might be facing their own challenges?
Let's say let go of the noise. A lot of those fears, I mean, they don't serve us really. They don't serve us. I mean, like, yeah, obviously, I mean, don't run in traffic, I guess. But like, what if I'm bad at surfing? I mean, like, I'm just bad in that moment. That doesn't mean I'm going to be bad tomorrow. You know.
Oh, I love that.
Any
Yeah.
thought that happens like that is just noise. It's nonsense. We don't have to listen to it.
I love that. Thank you. Tony, what's your special words that you can offer us on what message or advice would you like to share with others who might be facing challenges?
I would like to share with others and pass it on, even though if it's a new sport or an old sport, and just pass it on. And even surfing was one of my first time sports because I've done kayaking in the water,
Kayaking.
but I do like to share and say, oh yeah, this adventure was really cool. You should try it. Give it your best shot and don't be afraid.
Okay. Do you have any plans for yourself for the future? Just one last thing. Do you have any plans for yourself for the future?
I do not at this moment.
Not at this moment. Well, we hope to see you back here. Will you try this again? Are you planning to try surfing again?
Sure, why not? I would go for it all the time. Why not?
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. And then Daniel, if you want to take the mic, and we're just going to ask you, what are your future plans as well? Do you have any future plans?
I have a lot of various music projects that I'm working on, and I'm always fleshing out. So I'm excited to share that at some point. And then for surfing, honestly, I want to keep trying. I want to keep doing it. So yeah, we'll see where I take it from. When I'll be back next year. So we'll see.
Well, the sky's the limit and the waves are the limit. I mean, you can go as far out as you can with all these wild waves. And the best thing is we're here in California, right? Aren't we blessed to be here? And we've got like a variety of beaches to choose from when you want to surf, right? Okay.
Beaches and Texas.
And
that's what we got.
Yes, we do have that too. All right. Thank you, guys. I so appreciate having them. We're going to give them a big round of applause. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely wonderful gentlemen. You're such an inspiration. So now you guys hear it from the creme de la creme of all the people that have tried surfing, and there was plenty more out there. We just picked two gentlemen that volunteered to come here and talk, and we really appreciate that. So stay strong and don't let the sky's the limit, as these gentlemen have told you, and be fearless. Try everything life presents you with. It's all in the mind, the mindset. Do you agree, gentlemen? It's the mindset, right? All right. Thank you. See you at our next Healthy Haven show. Check us out, naturalhealthyhaven.com. Thank you for joining us today.
Watch out, I got it all figured out. I've got it all figured out. I have a true ambition to conquer my mission, and nothing's gonna get in my way today. Nothing's gonna stand in my way. No way, no matter what happens today. I got my goals figured out and put in place, and nothing's gonna stop me today. I got a plan in motion and a path to play, and nothing's gonna stand in my way. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. I got it all figured out. I've got it all figured out. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. I got it all figured out. I got it all figured out. If something gets in the way, it won't ruin my day. I'll just learn to follow and embrace the way. Learn to follow and embrace the way. We don't have to live in fear. We're stronger than we appear. Nothing's gonna stop us here. I got a plan in motion and a path to play, and nothing's gonna stand in my way. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. I got it all figured out. I've got it all figured out. Watch out, watch out.